David Reyes back, your retirement architect. Thanks for listening. I love to do this show. It's an honor and a pleasure. I get the chance to speak to so many of you, and we get dozens of calls a week, and I talk to every single person who calls. I feel a duty and responsibility to do that because I love what I do. And the lack of I think a saying I heard a long time ago, and I'm not sure who said it, was that, we're drowning in information and starving for wisdom. You could read every book there is on finance and taxes and whatever you want to read about managing your money, and you're never going to know as much as a good advisor. And so I want you to really hire a good advisor. And what does a good advisor look like? A good advisor looks like a couple of things. It's really straightforward. Number one, they're fiduciary. Okay, they work for themselves. They're independent. They don't work for a big bank, because most of the independent advisors are very successful. They don't need to work for Merrill Lynch anymore to provide the marketing and all the clients that they'll bring over just by their name. So most independent advisors are extremely successful people in general. So you want to work with an independent fiduciary financial advisor, meaning they're a fiduciary. They have to put your interest ahead of their own in the firm. The second thing you want to look for is, does that firm do retirement planning? Okay. Now, when somebody says they're a financial planner, that's kind of a misused word, overused word. Most advisors are money managers. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's not enough. When you're the age that you're at, if you're between 50 and 70, average age of our client 67, you need somebody that can do holistic planning. You need somebody who's an expert in Social Security, an expert in taxes. My partner's a CPA, an expert in estate planning. We have our own attorneys that we work with. All these issues, dealing with retirement planning, retirement income planning, it's a whole art and science. I've been doing it for 22 years. It's all I've ever done in the financial services side of the business is done retirement planning for both individuals and business owners. So number one, you want them to be independent, be a fiduciary, have no conflicts of interest. Number two, they need to be an expert in retirement planning. I tell clients every day when I sit down with them, I say, look, I've been doing this for 22 years. I retire every day. You're going to retire once. And what I mean by that is I'm retiring through my clients that retire. So if you're 60 years old and looking to retire, I've got clients that have been 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 80, 90, and passed away, had long-term care issues, all these issues. So I've been places you haven't been. So that's why it's so important to hire somebody who has that experience. It's irreplaceable. So those are the two main things. And then third is their investment philosophy. So you want them to be independent. You want them to be an expert in retirement planning. You want them to have an investment philosophy that deals with managing downside risk, number one, as their number one issue. And then are experts in creating income, because that's a whole nother art and science as well. How do we produce income? I will tell you, our average client gets a distribution rate historically of around 5 to 6%. And in fact, most of our clients will never spend $1 of their principal in retirement. How would you like to do that? How would you like to just spend the interest and dividends on your portfolio and never spend your principal? Or if you choose, or if you need to and you choose to, that's fine. But we really want to be careful in the beginning years of retirement, because if we have bad years in the beginning, you're spending a lot of principal and you have a bad sequence of returns. Let's say you retired in 2000. Well, you're going to have a problem, because in 2000, if you retired, the average person ran out of money in 12 years. So we try to do the best job possible to create income streams that we can't outlive. And if we can do that in a way where we're only spending interest and dividends from the portfolio without touching principal, that's our number one objective. And believe it or not, that's not normal. Most advisors are just going to take your portfolio. We're going to say this much in stock, this much in bonds. They're going to do this nice little chart, and they'll say, okay, you're not going to run out of money till you're 95, right? Well, who wants to run that race? Whoops, what if I don't make it? What if I live to 96, but I run out of money at 95? We just can't have that. So you need to have somebody who's an expert in dealing with and has the experience of not only being a fiduciary, being a retirement planning expert, and a investment expert when it comes to protecting capital, growing capital, and most importantly, creating income. So if you want to talk with me personally, want to sit down and get a second opinion from me, absolutely free. I don't charge you for it. We're just going to have a conversation for an hour, 90 minutes, see if I can help, give you some tips at a minimum. But if you're going to spend the time, I'll spend the time. And if you want to do that, we'll review, again, your tax returns, your trusts. We'll look at your investments. We'll do a stress test on your investments to make sure you don't have too much risk, which most of you do, and everything in between. So if you'd like to take advantage of that second opinion, give me a call, 1-800-611-1967. That's 1-800-611-1967. Again, go to reyesplan.com. That's REYES plan.com. Last thing that I want to talk about today is, again, and I'm promoting this because we only have a few spots left, and we're not going to do one for another few weeks. We are having this workshop called Annuities, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I'm really excited to give, and I have been giving because there's so much misinformation. If you want to attend that workshop, there's only about a half dozen seats available, and you want to get tickets. There's 2 tickets per person. It's 1-800-611-1967. That's 1-800-611-1967. And that's Tuesday, July 26th at 6:30 p.m. at our offices in La Jolla. We're right off the 805 in La Jolla Village Drive in the Union Bank building, if you know where that is, kind of across kitty corner from the mall. And again, that's 1-800-611-1967, 1-800-611-1967. And just let them know you want tickets to attend the workshop, Annuities, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So we're really excited to have that. Everyone we've had so far, we've done 3 of these. They've all sold out. We limit them to about 30 people is the maximum. I don't like to do big groups because I want to have an interaction with you. I want you to be able to ask me questions. I don't want to be talking at you. I'd like to talk with you. I just will tell you that we've had tremendous response from this. So I have a few minutes left here. The main thing I want to leave you with today is just be careful. We know there's a lot of bad things going on in the world right now, and just be careful with your portfolios. I sit down with too many of you and just see that you're taking on way too much risk. And what happens is a lot of investors, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. And you may be going, David, this is me. Where you say you're super conservative, but guess what? Your portfolio is aggressive. It happens all the time. Clients say, David, I don't want to lose money and I want to be really safe, but their portfolio in the next downturn would lose 30%. That's not possible. So if they have $1 million, they would lose $300,000 if they keep the same portfolio they have. So our job for you is to protect the downside, to make sure that we're still going to make money, but want to make sure we're not wiped out in the next financial crisis, which we're going to have. And unfortunately, I think this next one's going to be just as bad as the last 2 we had in 2000 and 2008 for different reasons. And I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm an optimist because I'm not worried about my clients. I'm worried about you. So if you want to meet with me, you want to attend our workshop, you want to sit down and do a second opinion with me, give me a call, 1-800-611-1967. That's 1-800-611-1967. Or go to my website at reyesplan.com. That's REYES plan.com. And again, if you want to attend the workshop we're having, next Tuesday, the 26th, Annuities, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I would advise that you attend, and you will learn a lot more than you probably want to know, or hopefully what you want to know, because if you're in the market to look at annuities, which can be a great tool, not as you don't want to buy annuities for your whole portfolio. You want to use them very tactically. And so very precisely. So you'll learn a lot about all different types of annuities, variable annuities, fixed index annuities, all these acronyms and words that you're not familiar with. We'll cut through the clutter and teach you what are the type of annuities that you should be using. Low fees, really good distribution rates, great companies, A+ rated companies. So I hope you can attend. Again, 1-800-611-1967. That's 1-800-611-1967. It's been a great show. As always, I appreciate you listening. I look forward to your calls. And again, I'll speak with every one of you individually. So God bless. Have a great Sunday. And I'll talk to you next week. This is David Reyes, AM 760 KFMB.
Our program is designed to not only provide insight, but to educate and to give you the tools you need to help you design and build a rock-solid retirement.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional life income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you're just taking the first step toward protecting your retirement. It is important that that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.
Annuities. A lot of people are talking about annuities. If you watch the talking heads on TV, you'll hear everything from "they're the greatest thing since sliced bread" to "run the other way as fast as you can." Consider this your personal invitation to join David Reyes and the team at Reyes Financial Architecture for their next workshop called Annuities: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Join us July 26th at 6:30 at the offices of Reyes Financial Architecture for this very important and informative workshop. You'll hear it all from David Reyes July 26th. The number to call is 800-611-1967. 800-611-1967. Annuities: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at the offices of Reyes Financial Architecture, 6:30 in the evening, July 26th. That number one more time, 800-611-1967. Call now to reserve your seat.